Anime and fitness. These days they go together as well as peanut butter and chocolate or your hand in Angela White. But that wasn't always the case, as many of my fellow elder millennials can tell y'all. But I'm happy to see it's become oh so normalized that even pro athletes and celebrities are repping their weebhood. And why wouldn't they? Anime gives us worlds of endless possibilities and entertainment. Characters live insane lives, fighting gargantuan battles with energy and feats people only dream of doing. Just like comic book superheroes and cartoons, we follow insanely powerful individuals who are what they are supposed to be. Illusions of your fantasy. All dots and lines that speak and say, what we do is what you wish to do. But one thing most anime does have over most standard superhero media is some good amount of characters who work for their strength and gradually improve versus seeing characters just getting powers and becoming heroes and fine-tuning their gifted superpowers. Not saying most superheroes don't train, but in a lot of different anime, it's about training hard and then being able to move like superhero characters, but primarily from their workouts, and their physiques show that. Is why so many people these days are inspired by anime characters for their gym inspirations. Goku, Vegeta, Rock Lee, Might Guy, Baki, Toji, Saitama, Mirko, Mikasa, Ippo, and much, much more. If you go on Instagram and scroll through fitness reels, you'll most def run into a couple of these characters with motivational quotes and some hype music, or just a ripped IG model with anime quotes playing during their workout. But while it's great these characters are inspiring so many people to better their lives and get in shape, there has always been a small darkness steadily spreading that's always been there, and something that was once positive is now affecting many people for the negative. Nearly everyone in anime is jacked, big titties everywhere, and every day if you work hard, life will be better. But what happens when you can't let go of those fictional worlds and start wondering, why can't my world be like this, and why can't I look like this? I gotta train harder, I gotta diet stricter, and I gotta do this every single day. And while you can get great results, you start noticing sometimes that's not enough. But you know it's possible because you see tons of yoked fitness models looking like these characters and hanging out with these super hot women appearing like they have the life you want to live. So desperate times call for desperate measures, and that's when a little extra help looks enticing when it didn't need to be.
I saw something the other day that said, chasing anime physiques ruins your mental health. And in my brain, I was just like, they realize they're drawn and like clearly exaggerated, right? Like even I, your friendly neighborhood JaxBlade, who loves talking about this, have mentioned this in countless videos. If you follow me long enough, you probably see me go like, yeah, this is not realistic, but you can do this instead.
But something I've noticed is a lot of people think they need physiques like this or like this in real life to live their ideal lives. And something I've always noticed with this discussion is because of the internet, it's always brought up to the most hyperbolic points of each side. If you ain't training and working hard, you a lazy beta bitch and no one will ever respect you. And on the opposite end, all muscular physiques are just unnecessary and trying to achieve them does more harm than good to you in the long run, so just be lazy and relax, okay?
I'd like to tackle this right from the middle because there's a lot of impressionable people out there, and I don't want this to be like, oh, this is just an issue. Let's actually think of solutions for this issue. Because I want to help y'all watch and get better bodies, but more importantly, notice if you do any of these things I mentioned so you can catch yourself down the line.
First, let's look at why people want to look like these muscly drawn characters or Instagram fitness models, which we can actually go deep into if we look at the neurobiology of human behavior. Us humans are very much social creatures. Many people work out because they want to be attractive to potential mates. Some do it so that they can be more formidable, functional, and intimidating so other people won't try them, or so that they can handle various situations. And some do it because moving heavy circle makes sad brain voice quiet.
And some just generally enjoy how being active makes them feel. But here's where this gets tough. Many people will say different reasons for why they work out, depending on the social judgment for their answer. For example,
well, I work out so I can be the strongest, best version of myself and inspire countless people. But sometimes in reality, internally in their brain, the real reason they work out that they don't want to verbalize for fear of appearing shallow to other people, I work out so I can look hot as fuck and so I can flex my gains to potential partners and be desirable and get praised. That's it, bruh. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that, but I do know sometimes it can be tiring to keep up a facade of your real goals if they don't always align with what you're saying.
That is where shadow work comes into play.
Shadow work prompts are questions you ask yourself that push you to uncover repressed thoughts or feelings. You can respond to shadow work questions by journaling, jotting down related ideas, and processing the emotions that arise.
Now these can be very painful because at the end of the day, it's just you and there's no one else you have to impress. It's just you being honest with yourself, answering certain questions. Now, don't mistake these with intrusive thoughts where you think like the worst, most horrible things. Everyone gets those. But like there are certain aspects of yourself that you cannot truly lie to yourself about, where it's like you know deep down how you feel about certain things. And I just want to say this to you, again, you're not alone. Tons of people go through this exact thing where it's just like, oh, I'm saying this, but like deep down, I know what the truth is. And I say this because it gets to my next point.
Why do you specifically want to look like whoever it is you want to look like, whether they be fictional or real? Do you want attention? Do you want admiration and respect? Do you want fear? Do you want it just for yourself to prove that you could do it? Do you want to feel like a confident badass and just live out these crazy scenarios?
Because I'm not even gonna front. My 33-year-old ass has entire bouts of maladaptive daydreaming to this day, but I utilize it how Baki utilizes his shadow boxing. So I'm burning a ton of calories, getting my cardio up. I just put on a hype song and I'll be going on these adventures when I'm shadow boxing or something like that, doing some like Ninja Turtle crap or running up a dragon like He-Man when I'm sprinting and then like jumping and slaying and stuff like that. I get way too into it, man, but I burn so many calories, it pays off. And it's okay if it's cringe, okay? We cringe but free here, baby. Cringe but free. Do your life. Live your life to the best.
But in addition, let's say hypothetically you get it or get close enough to it. Now what? Do you want to maintain this type of body for a good amount of time or the rest of your life? Or did you reach it in a way that was so extreme that you don't want to do that again, but also you can't maintain that level of effort consistently?
Because here's the thing, a lot of people have reached great physiques like this, but they didn't make it a lifestyle change. So they overtrain daily, they go on this strict diet, and sometimes sip some non-Tropicana juice, if you catch my drift.
Yes, fast results come, but if you can't maintain the way you reached it, you steadily lose it faster than you think. Think of Golden Frieza in Resurrection F, or realistically an actor who had to get super in shape for a movie role.
If you take things slow and find a healthy lifestyle that incorporates resistance training, cardio, and mobility, and then also like a healthy eating plan that you can stick to, those results will last for years casually, like the characters you follow in your favorite shows. But a lot of people sadly don't want slow. They want everything now, as soon as possible. Hence why Nega Tropicana starts looking more and more enticing if you can get these results faster and they can last for longer. But another thing that people fail to realize is as you age, your goals may change. Like, I have met so many people who may have started off like maybe being bodybuilders or playing sports or something like that, and years later they found something else that they're like, oh, I'm passionate about this now, and so like they completely changed physically. And it's like, you know what, that's fair, because that's life. You're not going to be the same person you were 10 years ago. You may really love doing one thing for a while, and then years later you want some change.
Some go from martial arts to powerlifting. Some go from bodybuilding to being yogis. Some go from track runners to boxers, etc.
But again, the neurobiology of the brain can make certain people tribal. So for example, if you change what you used to do and then like you move on to something else, to them it can feel like you're abandoning the tribe. But if something is not serving you in a way you want, it is okay to move on to something else that you feel passionate about that gives you life. Because something to remember is our time here is limited. Like, we as humans only live what, between like 80 to 100 years, sometimes more, sadly sometimes less. So why don't you focus on stuff that actually gives you life instead of starts to drain it if you feel like it's not serving you anymore?
But let's dive deeper on those 5 questions I asked earlier about why people train. 1, attention. 2, admiration. 3, fear. 4, self-respect. 5, confident badass.
First off, like I always tell you, you don't need to look insane like this or this if you want to look good at the beach or for like a certain cosplay. Just utilize the genjutsu effect.
This video right here and this short right here maps out exactly what you need to do to look good and not make it needlessly complicated. Also, I got programs in the pinned comment to help with that too, but there's tons of free stuff on my channel and on my YouTube.
And also, like we've mentioned before, do not worry about the fitness community scrutinizing you online, because they have proven time and time again that there is no perfect body online, no matter what you look like, okay? Because if you're too buff, people are gonna give you constant steroid accusations. If you're not buff enough, people are gonna say you're frail and weak. If you're in between both, people will say, oh, you got lagging body parts. And then if you're built like a strong man, people will be like, okay, yeah, he's just got a gut though, he doesn't really look in shape. And then if you're like just healthy and fit, people will be like, ah, he's not jacked though, all right? So don't worry about what other people are talking about.
A lot of these people think every single person who exercises is trying to compete in bodybuilding or a physique competition or on stage or anything like that, when that is just not the case. People have different goals.
Remember, truly strong people lift others up, not put them down. But this goes into a point I want to make about attention.
A lot of people want to look like Toji and Baki because they want attention. And don't get me wrong, I get it. It feels great when people are praising you. That dopamine hit and neurobiology of our ancestors being accepted by the tribe can feel intoxicating. However, it comes in spurts and then slowly dies down. And so people do more things to get that hit of dopamine again until eventually it levels out. Because like I explained in my Goku video, if every day was perfect, you'd hit a level of homeostasis and grow numb to into it, like in The Good Place, or that SpongeBob episode with Squidward, or like they talked about in The Matrix, or that one Twilight Zone episode. So they start doing things to get more attention until that dies down, and then that needle starts looking enticing, because with new gains means more praise, or so you think.
Being obsessed with clout is literally like taking drugs, because you consistently want to relive that certain high, but it just never feels the same.
And like we always talk about, social media is a highlight reel. It is not real life. So of course people with millions of followers look perfect and like they got their shit together, and like you're comparing yourself to that illusion, but you generally do not know what is going on behind the scenes with them.
Again, if you're just interested in getting muscles because you think women will be attracted to you, just know this: they are a bonus buff, not a magnet. And I'm just bringing this up because so many people just do not get that. I have seen this firsthand so many times. I've seen people built like King Leonidas and Jeff Seed get turned down for dudes who look like Harry Styles and Jack Black. And I'm not saying that to body shame at all, but what happened was these people put all their like personality stats into gym and fitness stuff, while the other people could have fun conversations, make the girl laugh, and be charming and stuff like that. And then the other people were just like, why? I built like this. Why are they not attracted to me? And it's just like, dude, personality is broken. That is the main thing, all right? They are a bonus buff, not a magnet. Never forget that.
But another thing, people desire praise from people they don't even really like, and people who don't even really like them either. Think of those shows where someone gets mega popular or rich, and then the bully characters, mean girls, dickheads, etc., all start switching up on them because they now have status. They didn't care for them at all before, but now that they got status and wealth, they own them. But what happens nearly every time in those scenarios? The person gets built up, something happens and they lose it, and all those people praising them immediately throw them under the bus and abandon them. And then the real ones who always genuinely cared for them show back up and pick their friend up.
This shit is such a valuable lesson because it happens all the time in real life. You've probably seen this happen various times, whether it would be some like YouTuber drama or like some shit that happened in your own life. Why do you want attention from the wrong people? It's because that dopamine hit starts to feel really good. And if you've never experienced it like this before, you start to become obsessive over it. Or maybe it's to prove them wrong. But here's the thing to remember. There are 8 billion plus people on this planet, right? Not everyone's gonna like you, just like you yourself don't like everyone. So why focus on people who don't give a fuck about you when you have people who do give a fuck about you? Focus on them. Trust me, I know. I've been there. And Recess and Weekenders have great episodes on this topic, but it's like a quote I came up with a very long time ago. If they didn't love you when you were a Magikarp, don't give them the time of day when you're a Gyarados.
That's why it's important to follow Dunbar's number, where you can see the difference between genuine people in your life and the ones who are sketchy acquaintances, and you know where to place them.
If someone compliments you for your gains, be happy. Yeah, your hard work is being noticed. By the way, you watching, yeah, you specifically watching right now, you look great, by the way. Like, I can tell you've been putting in work. You look phenomenal. So massive props of respect. Nothing wrong with being like, oh, thank you, I appreciate that. The problem is when it's just like, yeah, I am great. Yeah, I am. I'm awesome. I'm amazing. This high is fucking great. I need more of this high. I need more praise. I need all of this. Yes, give me those likes and those comments. Gas me the fuck up. Oh, wait. I'm not getting as much as I used to. Come on, give me more. No, I'm not getting as many. Oh God, I need to get bigger. I need to get bigger. Because that's when you end up breaking down. And I know people you'd never think of who've done that behind the scenes, but they mask it because, you know, their image. The same thing goes with respect. Because I saw something the other day about one of my idols, Bruce Lee.
Bruce has done so much for physical fitness and martial arts and has inspired countless people to better themselves. But someone was like, yeah, that's cool, but too bad he was small. I'd actually respect him if he was built more like Scott Atkins or Michael Jai White though. Now yeah, Bruce Lee was not the biggest guy around, but he was lean as fuck, which made his muscles show more, but he wasn't like, you know, yoked. He wasn't a physique competitor entering physique competitions, he was a martial artist who loved weightlifting.
But to say I won't respect him because he's not that big really shows that that person's respect doesn't really mean anything and isn't really relevant. That is some Frieza soldier who can't read power levels type shit. Like, I can sort of get if someone was never in shape or they never practiced what they preached, but if you see like visual evidence that like, oh no, this person was actually a legit beast, like they were super fit here, they just didn't have an aesthetic I vibed with, and you say, oh, I noticed this person did all this influential stuff and helped millions of people, but because he's so small instead of Brelic, he doesn't deserve my respect, bruh. That is objectively idiotic. It shows that specific person's respect means nothing, okay? And if anyone gets in their feelings, you like hear this sort of thing, I'm not sorry. Be better. That's what it is.
Now for fear, I can get that if you grew up realizing I need to be strong so people don't F with me, but also you gotta be able to turn that on and off, because sometimes folks maintain this don't fuck with me aura that it ruins potential relationships. Now of course, don't be a bully, because all that shows is this quote, hurt people hurt people. And while you think you're a badass, there are many who can humble you physically and legally, but also if you push too hard, some can sadly end up doing something to you a bit more permanently that's not worth it. And then there are people who have the healthy mindset of I'm doing this generally for me, and if I get admired for it, that's a nice bonus, but it is not my primary goal. That is the perfect place to be, because true confidence comes from walking into a room and not worrying about everyone liking you, but being okay if not everyone does. It's not about proving yourself, it's about improving yourself. Very much a Goku energy of endless improvement if you get to this state. And if you trained proper, it makes you feel like a badass knowing you can protect yourself and others if shit goes down.
But now let's talk about the big thing, the hyperbolic nature of the internet due to this graph. Now, if you've already seen my Toji Tough Like the Tunes video, I'm gonna play a clip from it, so here's to skip if you've already seen it, but I feel like this just brings up a valid point of something that's very important. So it is one of those type of physiques that is possible, however, some people will be like, oh, I'm not getting at this speed, or I can't get at this speed because we're all built different. That is okay. Like some people will never be built like Arnold Schwarzenegger, some people will never be built like C-Bum, all right? But that doesn't mean you should give up, because there are people out there who'll be like, oh, it's all genetics. You don't even try, man. And fuck that weak shit, all right? They just don't even try, and that's mitigating feelings of inadequacy when they see people trying to do something that they can't do or they won't do. And we don't do that here. You are winners in my eyes, all right? Even if you don't get the thing like 100%, it doesn't mean that you can't try your best to do your best when, you know, you're going after it, training and stuff like that. And that's all this is doing. All it is self-improvement for you to just find a way to go, okay, I'm having fun, I'm going after a goal, and even if I don't get that goal, I'm still improving along the way. But also, do not beat yourself up mentally, because so many people will stress themselves out like, I need to get this body, I need to do this, I need to eat this way, and they'll starve themselves and do all this horrible like body dysmorphia stuff, and we do not do that here, all right? You can do this, but we have to do it a healthy way. It's called bodybuilding, not body destroying. And yes, there are people out there that have used enhancements to improve themselves faster and then appear like, oh, I didn't do anything, I just did this. And then there are other people who have done nothing at all. But don't worry about what other people are doing. Focus on yourself. That's the problem with people. They're so focused on what other people are doing instead of themselves. You got this right now. Stay with me. You got this. To go off that, there are people who say getting in shape is just being fat phobic and that you don't need to be muscular at all. And so first things first, I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for people who get body shamed when they're just not doing anything to anyone. They're just like minding their fucking business, like live whatever life you want. But the thing that I have absolutely zero patience for is when a person is trying to get healthy and then someone decides I'm going to mitigate my own feelings of inadequacy and shame this person for trying to better themselves because they're doing something I either can't do or won't do, and it's making me feel bad about myself. I absolutely find that so fucking asinine and pathetic that I do not stand for it. If you insult someone or consider them fat phobic because they're losing weight because they want to feel healthier or feel better about themselves, and they are not in any way saying anything negative about people who are overweight at all, they are just focusing on themselves and you're just the one going off insulting them, I'm sorry, I will not stand for any hyperbolic bullshit points that are brought up to them while they are trying to improve their lives. Do you want to know what true body acceptance is? Watch the episode Weighing Harold of Hey Arnold, okay? That is a throwback for all my freaking 90s kids out there, but like that episode is to this day one of the best episodes I've ever seen about body acceptance and just health and all that jazz, and it's just something that I feel like should be shown in schools because it's been so twisted these days with how people like, you know, go, oh, this is fat phobic, oh, this is bad, oh, this is this, when someone is not intentionally trying to be malicious to them, they're just trying to better their lives, and I just find that absolute horseshit.
But in conclusion, if you want to look like these characters or athletes or models, etc., you have to make peace with some things and also take notes if you are falling into these mental health traps that we talked about in this video.
But again, I want to say this, you watching, you are not alone, okay? You are not alone. I know it feels that way at times, that you feel like, oh, I'm just completely alone in this isolated world, but there are millions, if not billions of people going through a very similar situation. They just don't talk about it. Even if it may seem completely asinine, there are people who are like, oh shit, that actually happened to me too, okay? Matter of fact, if you made it this far in the video, type, I'm not alone down in the comment section below. It shows me who watched all the way to the end, and it also shows that like, you literally are not alone, because there are tons of people who are going through stuff or like going through their own thing. That's why I always say, aim to get 1% better every single day, because 100 days from now, your future self will greatly thank you. And again, if you need any help with that, I got tons of videos on this channel, so be sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe, so just check out my stuff. And if you want something more like detailed, I do have programs in the description box, and I also do coaching as well. If you're interested, all that in the description box, pinned comment, check it out. Thank you to my people on Patreon. You're really helping me out a lot, so all y'all, you're goats. And then for people watching, I got tons of videos coming, like a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff to talk about, especially this back there. And then I hope you just have a great rest of your day and you can keep moving forward and like steadily improve yourself. But remember, like I always say, keep calm, booyah on, and don't forget, momentai. Let's go crush this life together. Booyah!